Yo guys, Chinky's here. Today I'm just gonna bring you guys a video ranting a little bit about the state of Unholy DK and Frost DK, of course. Just DK in general. So like when Shadowlands came out, the biggest nerf or the biggest change to Unholy DK was Death Strike. Now Death Strike got nerfed. It's only 20% of damage taken in the last 5 seconds. Instead of 40, and with the change of the meta and the game being super bursty, like I've gotten killed in 3 to 4 globals by rogues and hunters. They do about half your HP, double aim shot hunters, and rogues do their Kyrian ability, plus like an ambush with 100% crit legendary and stuff. And it just seems like it's too much. Like obviously my versatility is really low, but my gear is good obviously, so my HP pool is super high compared to other people, and I'm still getting one shot. It's just disgusting in my opinion. Like the only reason, so it's like, you know, you have to go through BFA. Like why was DK viable in BFA? Why was it okay? Or like, because it wasn't good, it was just decent. It was mainly because you couldn't get killed by the combo of Drestagothing and stuff, and you could kill people with the Drestagoth Reaping Flame combo yourself. Now, the change is that obviously they nerfed the PvP trinket damage trinkets, so people are not going to play them probably. They might still play them, but we don't know yet, as the raid and ranked PvP hasn't come out yet. But the Death Strike nerf itself, I mean, it's obviously a little bit justified, you know. We got this Corpse Exploder, not that one, like this one, Sacrifice Pack, 25% your max HP. Obviously this is only 20% in PvP usually, because you're going to fight against MS players. And then obviously dampening is also going to be in the game, but this is nice, but the 20 runic power cost shouldn't be there in my opinion. It just makes it awkward and clunky. Now they also brought back Lichborn. Now, the fact that they brought back Lichborn is not bad per se, but I wouldn't say it's good either. Like, basically, they removed the PvP talent, right? Now, so if you say BFA, right, like, we had a good matchup versus rogues in 3s and 2s, as well as other classes that would stun you. Now that obviously has gone away. Reason being is that Lichborn doesn't exist. So now we only have Trinket and IBF. So basically, previously what you would do versus rogues is that you would Lichborn the first stun, Trinket the second, and then you could Lichborn the third one. And then you could kite out for the fourth one, and then you could rotate your Trinket back with Lichborn again. Which was nice. It was a way you could play the game more. Even though other classes had way more CC than you would still not be CC'd, so like it would be an even playing field. Also, it gave you damage reduction obviously and stuff like that. Now, with the removal of the DPS trinket and you know, the neck stuff, like you can't use Crucible and stuff in PvP anymore. I mean, I'm equipping it, but it's just because the stats are busted. Now, you know, like, you need to understand how Unholy DK wins games to understand why this nerf is so fucking bad. Like, you would win games by living, and then you would kill them, right? You always have them go first. DKs obviously have the longest cooldown on their stun. Rogues 20 seconds, Warriors 30, Demon Hunters 30, Red Paladins obviously pretty long, but longer stun duration and dispellable. A bit of a niche. So yeah, like out of all the melees, when it came down to it, you had to wait for them to do something before you were allowed to do something, or else you'll just be CC'd, or your teammates will be CC'd, and your go will be bad. Now, because you have to wait for their go, right? You need to live their go. And if you don't live their go, you'll just lose, because they will have their go always before you. Which is annoying, but it's just a fact. Now, on the other side, you do have 2 trinkets. You know, they only have 1. So you stun them, they trinket. And then they stun you, you trinket. They stun you again, you trinket, and then you stun them again. If the game is that fast-paced, it'll be fine probably. But, like, right now, the problem is the damage. And by introducing Sac Pack and Lichborn healing and removing the PvP talent that let you Lichborn, you know, changing IBF to Lichborn and making a 1 minute cooldown, and the fact that Unholy DK damage is the same as every other class in the game but has 0 burst, is kind of frustrating. So basically, what it feels to me is that right now, what's gonna happen is that they're gonna do a go, whatever comp you're playing versus whatever comp, and you're gonna have to pop every single cooldown the first go, and then the second go, your priest or your healer is gonna pop every single cooldown, and then on the third go, you're gonna die as a DK. Because usually what happened before is that you would be able to use IBF or Trinket and then Death Strike, Your healer could still be stuck in CC. But because you're able to Death Strike, you would be fine. But now, even if you get out of the stun, you'll still die. Because you need the cooldowns, right? So IBFing and Trinketing stuns now as a DK doesn't feel as effective as it did before. And you also have to keep in mind the meta right now is Sub-Rogue, not Asa Rogue. And Sub-Rogue is going to stun you for 8 seconds every time they stun you, which is really, really annoying. And they're going to stun your entire team. So you're going to have to Trinket to stop CC. If it's a Polymorph or whatever, a Fear, whatever the fuck you're playing against. And the DK is going to be a liability because he cannot live. So, usually, let's say you're playing with a Warrior. Usually when you play with a Warrior was the only one that could die on your team. Your Warrior, your healer, you couldn't die as a DK, which was, a good thing, because the DK's burst is lower than other classes, but there's tanky enough to the point where it doesn't matter. Now, Frost is obviously, it's Unholy without a pet, but you have Delirium, and you have Heartstop Aura. Now, Blizzard, please fucking fix Anti-Magic Zone. It doesn't work. It only works for me, doesn't work for my teammates. Which is fucking annoying. I don't know why they haven't fixed it yet. But yeah, Frost DK seems okay. You do about 6k obliterates, and you can combo that with Chill Streak that does about 2k per tick. So you can do 20k Chill Streak damage to 2 targets, so 10k each. And then on top of that, if you're Night Fae, you could do, you could have an obliterate crit, do the damage, you grip your Windwalker stuns, you Chill Streak, and then, you start with an Obliterate, and then you Howling Blast or Frost Strike, and then you Obliterate again, and then you can get one more of that. So that's 3 crits, Obliterates, and you could do that to 2 targets if you have Night Fae. And like I said, they'll do about 6k, so that's 18k damage, right, to either 1 or 2 targets, so that's 36k or 18k, as well as 10k, so that's 28k damage, so that's going to kill someone, right? People are going to have about 30k HP, I think. It's a little bit higher here because I get the stamina traits from the neck here. So Frost seems good because it has that go, right? But Frost still has the same problem with I need to Death Strike, I can't Death Strike doesn't heal enough. And it's just a fucking nightmare, honestly. It feels like you're going to have to play the AMS legendary every single game, and if you're playing as double melee, you're gonna have to kite the entire game. Granted that you had to kite the entire game though in BFA as well when you play against double melee, so it'll be kind of similar. But having to play defensive legendary just because they changed the class and they thought, oh, we're gonna give you cooldowns instead of Death Strike, and we're gonna give you Lichborn, we're gonna remove the PvP talent of Lichborn. The nerfs are I'm sitting here and I'm like, what the fuck are they thinking? Anyone that's played DK for a decent amount of time at the highest level can tell you with certainty that doesn't make sense. Any of the DKs that played before that knew how to Death Strike properly and feeling the Death Strike nerf, it's awful. It's fucking horrendous. Like I said, the main problem is that I can get out of the stun, but I'll still die if my healer is CC'd. Usually against DKs, comps can CC your entire team. You can't even stop the polymorphs. You can't even do anything to it. Obviously, you can play in a certain way where you can stop the polymorphs, but that's even the best players. I can't get them to play that way. I've played with multi-rank 1 fucking Resto Shamans that are, they just want to go inside. I don't understand why, and they'll get polymorphed, and I can't do anything about it. Which is the point is more the skill I can provide to the team as a DK has gone down. Is that a good thing? No, because DK doesn't have that much carry potential already as it is. I do not have the ability to kill people. I do not have the ability to survive on my own. So then what the fuck do I have the ability to do? I can kick stuff, yes. But can you win games by kicking stuff? Probably not. Not anymore. It's not the same way it was in Votlock, where you land a kick and you kill them, or in VOD, where you kicked him, the paladin, and he insta-died because there was so much burst. But Frost with the Obliterate, though, does seem nice. You can kill people without chill streaking, actually. And then when you summon your pet, after the fucking stupid-ass summon animation, it will auto-stun the target. So if you summon your pet and you don't want to sack it, it will stun the target. So you can leg sweep, you can summon the pet. If they trinket the leg sweep, they're going to get stunned by the time they're at the end of the cast, around that. So you can time that, but it's fucking hard to time it. I wish they would just remove the animation of resummoning your pet. It's fucking stupid. It's not needed. It's just like, why do you make, like, so, okay. So basically, you know, Blizzard's point of view, right? They're trying to balance PvP and PvE, right? So the main problem with Unholy DK is that the only reason they do viable damage is because of Army of the Dead. Now, Army of the Dead is not allowed to be pressed in PvP. And Unholy DK has, or in BFA, for example, we had the highest burst comparable to Fire Mage. And Fire Mage was OP as fuck, right? But Fire Mages had the highest burst on entry in a fight. But our cooldown was 8 minutes, or their cooldown was 2 minutes on their combustion, right? Army of the Dead. Now, funny as it sounds, right? This is also disabled in PvP. So mages could do that same burst combo they did in PvE, in PvP. And Holy Leaguers could not. Also in PvP, obviously, you can stun the pets, you can Nova the pets, you can CC the pets. Like, you have, Shamans have roots. You know, Holy Paladins can Blinding Light it. Resto Shamans can Master Root with their Totem. Restors, Master Root, obviously. Rogues can just run away, mages can Nova it. Like, there's so many classes in the game that just counters DK completely when it comes to pet damage. So, like, balancing the class, okay, so Demo, because you have Demo, right? Their pets are range. It doesn't matter if you Nova them. It only matters if you stun them. And there's not that many classes that have stuns, and the stun duration isn't that long. And, you know, so that isn't really a problem for Demo Warlocks. Obviously, it's annoying for them. But compared to Unholy DK that can get Nova than their pets and everything, and having their main damage coming from their pets is fucking insanity. The person that thought that up is dumb as fuck. Like, it's fun for PvE, yes, but it's not fun to see my damage breakdown and it looking like this. This is not a fun damage breakdown. I'm like, oh yeah, I played really good that game. I did so much damage. I summoned my pet, I got him to auto walk, and he did damage for me. It's like, And the worst part is that, like, I don't have control over them. You know, like, Abomination does whatever the fuck he wants. He doesn't listen. He can't change target unless the target vanishes or stealths. He has a nice bug where he can find people in stealth. Yes, that's cool. You know, whatever. Fix that. You know, make me able to fucking tell him what to hit. Make him do more damage, because, like, you're making it so easy to CC the pets to the point where I'm questioning, like, okay, they can CC the pet, but when it does damage, it doesn't even do that much damage. Like, I'm doing comparable damage. Like, if you're just sitting there, a warrior fighting you, and just brawling it out, not moving an inch, you both do the same damage. And then he has MS, you don't, which obviously, you know, that kind of stuff goes away in threes, because, you know, then you have a warrior on your team, and then you're like, oh, you both have MS effect. But, like, you want there to be a reason to bring a DK, right? You want there to be a reason why you want to play with a DK over a Feral Druid, or a Rogue, or a Mage, or a Warlock. There should be a reason, right? Now, they didn't give us Strangulate, you know. Blood still has Strangulate for some weird-ass fucking reason. People have been telling me that their Blood is going to be viable, which I've noticed they do about the same single target damage as Unholy in PvP, actually, which is stupid. But what's the main thing about Blood? They have Strangulate. Why the fuck do they have Strangulate? Why doesn't Frost... I mean, Frost doesn't need Strangulate. Let's be real. And Holy needs Strangulate. Frost has Decomposing Aura. Not Decomposing Aura. Fucking Heartstop Aura. They have Delirium. They're fine when it comes to, like, why you would bring a Frost DK. But why would you bring an Unholy DK? You have Pet Kick. You have Pet Stun. Like, you have your Asphyxiate, you have all of that. But like the damage you bring to the table, the burst that you bring to the table, the defensive capability, like the anti-magic zone, yes, I do like the anti-magic zone. It is a nice thing. An 80% damage reduction, if it worked to your teammates, yes, it would be good. I do agree with that. Obviously, it doesn't work on your teammates. But like, why did you nerf Death Strike? That's the main point of this video. Like, why is Death Strike nerfed? Especially right now when everyone is one-shotting each other. Death Strike would be so nice to press. But it doesn't heal more than Lichborn does. Like, Lichborn healing heals you for 4k, by the way. Sacking your pet heals you for 6k. So if you were to double Deathcore and sack your pet before MS and dampening, you heal for half your HP, right? A little bit more than half your HP. Now, if you get hit from 100% down to 20%, which is usually what I wait for if I'm gonna get one shot to Death Strike, a little bit above that, like 30 to 40 is nice. You're gonna Death Strike back up to, 60. And before that, you would Death Strike back up to 100% HP. Which is like, is that stupid? Yes, it's stupid that you can Death Strike that much. But how little damage does DKs do? Is that stupid? Yes. Like, my burst damage comes from Apocalypse. Apocalypse have a 15-second draw window where it does damage. The only reason that makes sense that your burst damage is coming from a 15-second window is if you can Mind Freeze, stun, so like Pet Stun was 4 seconds like it used to be, Strangulate. That's 14 seconds. That's 1 second less than if you didn't. But we don't have Strangulate. So the burst that DKs do does not make sense in any way, shape, or form. And like, you can make Strangulate 2-minute cooldown, force people to trinket it. Then you can't kill them unless you force a trinket. But once you force a trinket, you can suddenly kill something. Like, you don't have that kind of capability with Unholy right now. With Frost, you can just like have your teammates stun them, chill streak, obliterate 3 times for 18k, and chill streak for 10k, and you do 20k. They're dead. That's pretty good. But Unholy doesn't have that, and it doesn't make sense that Unholy shouldn't have that, but they don't. So I don't think Unholy is going to be viable. I think. So I've seen a lot of this tier list on YouTube, right? And everyone is putting Unholy on A tier with Frost. And these guys don't play DK. They've never played DK in their entire life. I've played beat DK with full gear versus other people with full gear. And I know how to do that. I can turn off my brain and do max damage and try to do max damage for fun. And ignore everything. Obviously, if you're going to move your character away from melee and do kicks and stuff, you're going to do less damage, single target. Or just in general. Because you're going to get less death goal procs and stuff. And less auto attack damage. And you might just, use a lot of more globals on Chains of Ice and etc. But like, I've gone into games where I don't press Chains of Ice once for fun. And I'm able to sit on them. And just do damage. And I'm still less damage than the Shadow Priest. And the Shadow Priest is healing half of the damage he does as well. And then I look at my healing, and it's like, yeah, my healing is about half of that. Like, half. It's like, he will heal for, let's say he does 250k damage, heal for 130k, 160k. Out there, heal for 40k. And doing, a little bit less damage than him, or a little bit more damage. But like, the burst that Shadow Priests have right now is insane, for example. The burst that Rogues have right now is insane. Hunter, insane burst. They can hit you from 100 to 50 to about 40% in one global, 2 globals. DKs can't do that. So the fact that Unholy DK cannot do that, just like, there should be some compensation there, right? A red padding can one-shot you. They move really slowly. They're hard to, well, they can get to you if they really, really want to, and they play well. But like, their burst is fucking insane, like a red paladin burst. Like, red warrior is probably the best melee comp versus other melee comps, because, you're forced to fight them anyway. And red paladin also has insane, like, off healing. They have insane defensive capability for their teammates now, with their sacrifice. Just like that addition is really, really big. And there's a lot of ways, like, you can just counter DK, like, plain out fucking counter them. Like, if you just dispel Unholy Blight, can't choose it. Unholy Blight can be dispelled. Like, say you want to go on a mage, versus, a paladin. And then, you press Unholy Blight, you get 4 stacks, and then Holy Blight fades of your buffs. And then the paladin goes, dispel. And now you don't have an Holy Blight. It's on cooldown, and you don't have the buff on him. And that's the guy you want to have your pet on and do damage to, so you don't get that damage increase for your pet. So it's like, there's a lot of things that's just wrong with DKs, and just like quality of life just doesn't make sense. Like, for example, just like Unholy Blight just shouldn't be dispellable. Why? Because if it is dispellable, it's a useless talent in PvP, because it can be counterplayed very, very easily. Obviously, you can play with a Warlock, a UA Warlock, and you won't dispel it, etc. But then it's like, do I really have to play with a UA Warlock just to be able to use one of my best talents? And then, like, you have maps in the arena. Like, you have XYZ maps. And you can stand on the edge of these maps, and then wait for the DK to pop cooldowns, and then jump down. And the DK's pet will never hit that target ever again. And you have to switch target. I have times where I'm like, he's on the edge. I don't know if he knows how to jump down or not when I put my cooldowns. But at the highest rating, they do that. So I'm not going to pop cooldowns until he jumps down. But I'm not going to be able to kill him until I pop my cooldowns. Even if he just stands there and takes my damage. So it's like, obviously I come from a biased standpoint of, I know all the flaws of Unholy DK, as I play that the most. And I play more than everyone else. I've been leveling now on Korea, EU, and US servers. I have 2 DKs on US, 1 on Korea, and 1 on EU. As you guys can see, I have 240 MS on EU. It's pretty high, but like, it's not that you can't win games with this MS. The problem is that, like, what I want to be able to do is to win the game by me outplaying the enemy, not having to compel my teammates to, live long enough where we can eventually get a kill. It's a very mundane playstyle of, like, trying to live, which, that's how BFA was for DK. Try to live, dampening, couldn't kill, live longer, where you're relying on your teammates more and more and more, which is fine at the highest end, if you have good teammates, but you can't always get good teammates, which is fine, Some people play more than others. Some people have less time to play than others, But, like, I don't know. It's like Peekaboo fucking joking around in his video, one-shotting people in 3 globals with the crit legendary. It's like, I get the joke. I get that he's joking about it. And I know he seriously knows that it should be nerfed. But why is that in the game, Blizzard? Like, it's not like it's 10% wrong or 20% wrong. It's like 50% damage wrong. Because they increased the crit, right? Then they got that legendary. And the PvP, obviously, there's like, how many legendaries? There's like over 120 legendaries in the game. So obviously, it's hard for them to, like, look through them. But, like, there's only like 3 to 4 employees at Blizzard's office. Like, can't they just employ more people? Play the game. Figure out, like, read all the fucking legendaries. Like, take one at a time and just, like, get fucking through them and be like, this might be broken in PvP. Let's just fucking fix it. I think they're gonna fix it, hopefully, because obviously the community is like, hey guys, this, Vanish, Night Elf, Meld, Stealth, 4-second, one shot. Like, you can literally kidney cheap shot, kill the broken solo, and seize the entire team. And it's fucking hilarious. Like, anyway, like, on that note, it's like, so basically my take on this is, Unholy is gonna be viable, but more, like, if you look at a tier list, it's like C or B tier, in my opinion, at this point. And Frost is still fine to play, like A tier. But I think Unholy is actually just dead right now. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, hopefully Blizzard buffs us or fixes the Death Strike or reverts it. Or buffs our burst damage somehow or something. Fixes the anti-magic zone. Yeah, it's rough right now. Anyway, hope you guys enjoying Shadowlands. Subscribe and like the video if you want to, and hopefully this rant wasn't too boring. I just wanted to get my fucking words out there because I'm frustrated. Anyway, peace, guys.